Apple Intelligence is finally here with iOS 18.1, but it's still kind of not here. And only Apple could screw this up and do something so stupid, right? So we've been waiting all this time. No mention of this whatsoever. No mention of it in the beta. And magically, yeah, they push the software update out. And then you have to request to join the waitlist for Apple Intelligence. Yes. So to get Apple Intelligence, you have to request it, and then there's a waiting line to get into. Now, the sooner you go ahead and request to be added to the wait list, the faster you get access. I think some people have been getting in as a matter of hours, and, well, presumably the longer you wait, the longer the line could get, and it could get backed up. Who knows how long you're going to have to wait. So you're probably sitting there wondering, how in the world do I go ahead and request to be added to the wait list? So it's very simple. You go into your settings, and then once you get into your settings, you scroll down to Apple Intelligence and Siri. It's a new section there on iOS 18.1. Of course, you have to download iOS 18.1, so make sure you do that. Once you're in Apple Intelligence and Siri, there's an option up here at the very top to request to join the wait list. So I've joined the wait list. I did it here just a little while ago. I still don't have access to these features, but this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of in my life. So, of course, they've been touting and celebrating Apple Intelligence for months now, pretending like it's there. It's not there. And then we've been waiting. Of course, we had to wait till the very last second at the end of October to get iOS 18.1. But then it's not like, oh, hey, you got it. Make sure you go in and set it up. Most people, I think, would presume that, hey, I finally got this new version of the software, or even people using the beta. Like, I've been iOS 18.1 beta, and whenever I joined the beta, there was no wait list. So once I got it, I just kind of assumed once I downloaded it that the features would be available. But thankfully, I saw on Twitter, or X, formerly known as Twitter, people were talking about having been waitlisted. I'm like, what is this stupid waitlist we're talking about to access these Apple Intelligence features? And then that's the only reason I knew. And I actually had to go look on the internet to figure out how to do it myself, because it's not something that is intuitive. It's not something where it's like, hey, you installed iOS 18.1. Here's an option. Why don't you go ahead and join the wait list? There's none of that stuff. There's nothing to let you know you should join this wait list so that way you can get access to the features. And this is the first time I've ever seen anything like this. Like, normally you get the software update, you have all the features, you just use them. So there's going to be a lot of people who download this and think they've got Apple Intelligence, and then they're going to be sitting there going, yeah, I'm using Apple Intelligence, right? No, you have to go in there. I'm sure at some point it'll open up and it'll be all right. But apparently the reason for the wait list, because the whole thing that's supposed to be so amazing about Apple Intelligence and why it took so long and why you have to have this amazing A18, A17 Pro processor, is that it's supposed to be done on device. So we've got like their version of Magic Eraser, which I put out a tweet earlier because it's funny to me. Everybody hates all over the Tensor chips. Everybody hates all over the Pixel phones. They created Magic Eraser, and it's been around since the Pixel 6. And it's been something you've even been able to do with the iPhone with the Google Photos app for a little bit of a while now. And it's done, of course, it's not done on device, but it works pretty darn well. It's not that big of a deal. Well, now Apple has their own. It's done supposedly on the chip, but I'm curious to see how that works. Like, some of it I'm sure is done on the chip. Does it need to do some of it on the server? I don't know. We're left in the dark as to how this is supposed to work. And I really don't believe Apple. Like, I don't believe a word they say, because everything they do is to spin it for marketing, to spin it for clicks and for information and to make it look good. In reality, isn't necessarily that way. So, yeah, we've had Magic Eraser with the Pixel 6 for years now. And we've got Gemini Nano, the first on-device AI model that came out last year. Or actually earlier this year. So whenever you take a look at it, they're basically 3 years behind. Now, granted, supposedly their version of Magic Eraser is supposed to be done on device. So the whole point of requesting this waitlist access so you can get access to Apple Intelligence is so it can download these models onto your phone, so that way it can do it on device. But I'm still curious, and I'm sure somebody smarter than me with better snooping skills, who has better access to this stuff, can figure out what's actually done on device and what's not, because this is going to be the real trying point, because they're advertising it as being done on device. I guarantee there's some stuff that's not being done on device. And so much crap was made about the Google Pixel phones and not being done on device. Like, I don't care. I don't care if it's done on device. I don't care if it's done on the server. I don't care if it's done in a combination thereof. The only thing I care about, does it work? And does it work efficiently? And I think in most cases it does, but it'll be interesting to test this out. I haven't even been able to test it out since, we got on here because, I'm still waitlisted and all that junk. So anyway, I wanted to make this video as a public service announcement to let people know this is how you go get it. And again, you download iOS 18.1, go into settings, do your software update. Then you can go into the settings and you go into Apple Intelligence and Siri. And there's some other stuff you can mess around in there with. Siri request for language, talk to Siri, allow Siri when locked, voice, Siri responses, announce calls, announce notifications. Like there's some customization, different things you can do in there. So definitely check that out and mess with it once you get it. But I just couldn't think of anything else more on brand than Apple than this stupidity whenever it comes to the deployment of Apple Intelligence. And it's still not really here. Like I said, this is the very first one. It's like, okay, you can get some summarization of your emails, summarization of notifications. You can do the whole magic eraser thing, and you can have like rewrite your stuff and make it more efficient or different tone or things like that. And so there's only very few things you can actually do. And of course, this only applies to iOS 18.1, and it applies to the iPhone 15 Pro, Pro Max, and newer, of course, the iPad Mini with the new one. And then like some of the computers like the M1s, M2, M3 based chipsets and things like that. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this goes, but it's not going to be fully deployed until next year. And I can only imagine with this bare level minimum Apple Intelligence with these hoops that you have to go through and the rigmarole, I can only imagine once we get to the second phase, you'll probably have to do the whole waitlist thing again. And then once we finally get like Siri 2.0 and the final updates sometime next year, which we're estimating maybe around like March, April timeframe, probably have to go through more steps to do that too. So we'll see how good it is. I'm going to wait for the AI experts out there. I am not an expert in AI. Like I try and keep up with this stuff. There is so much. And between the different AI models for the iPhone, for the Android phones, for Samsung, for Google, ChatGPT, Grok, being like all these crazy different things. There's so many different versions of AI out there. And many of them do a lot of the same things. They're very redundant. They just have different ways that they do them. So it'll be interesting to see Apple's take on this, how it actually works, where the rubber meets the road. Is it useful? And I think that's going to be the big thing. And I think people have kind of been hesitant about picking up an iPhone 16 series phone because they want to see how Apple Intelligence works. Like people are not as dumb as I think some of the companies think they are sometimes. And some people see right through this. Some people fully believe that they were going to walk in and get an iPhone 16 with Apple Intelligence. They probably have thought they had it on their phone already and come to find out, okay, it's not there. And then there's other people who sit back quietly and skeptically, and rightfully so, wait and see how good it actually is. Like, how good is Apple's version of this AI stuff? Will it be helpful? Will it be useful? Will it move phones? Like, is this something that's actually people are going to be like, hey, I want to get an iPhone for this, but by and large, maybe it's just me talking in a vacuum to my viewers who, of course, are more intelligent than the other viewers out there. You guys are very discerning, you're very educated, and you like to pay attention to this stuff, and y'all are on the up and up. So I've had a lot of folks in the comment section like, nah, I'm not interested in this AI stuff. I think it's silly. I think it's stupid. I don't think it's very useful. And some people do find it useful, and that's the thing. A phone is a tool, and AI is just another tool in that toolbox that you have that's part of your phone. Some people will use it, some people won't. Some people are in love with ChatGPT. I have it. I pretty much never use it. I messed around with it when it first came out. It's just not something that I need as part of my day-to-day life. But then there are certain AI features, like with the Samsung Galaxy phones and the Galaxy AI, that interpreter app, I love it. I've talked about it many times. It does it on device. You download the language models for the different languages like Japanese, Korean, German, French. I used it in Spain. I used it in Germany. I used it in Paris. I used it in Japan. Like, it is super, super helpful. So we're on a path. Obviously, we're on a path to where this AI is going to take us. Who knows? But ultimately, at some point in time, I believe there will be some value in it, where it finally will turn people's heads and be like, all right, that's it. That's the it feature. And that's what they're in search of right now. Like, all these different companies are trying to zero in and find that it value, that it feature that makes it where people just have to have it. And whoever finds that first, I think is really going to start moving some sales and pick up some market share and really establish themselves as a leader in the smartphone sector. Will it be Google? Will it be Samsung? Will it be Apple? Who knows? But yeah, anyway, typical Apple BS today with this garbage, and go forth and prosper. So that's all I've got. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, gripes, complaints, all that stuff, of course, go to the comment section. I'll do my best to get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, if you found this helpful, if you like this stuff, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.